All right. We're back. And we're on this loud bike. And I don't think it's running quite right, but this is the Banshee bike. I think our throttle cable isn't working quite how it's supposed to. But this is the raw and uncensored first ride on the Banshee bike. We did some jetting on it last night, and not a whole lot else other than putting the 150 rear tire on it. Yeah, I think we're going to have to sync our carbs a little bit because I think our throttle is not adequately opening evenly. But for just a raw test, not so bad. The shifting is a little bit clunky. Oh my goodness. So this thing had a pair of oddly sized jets in it. On the pilots, and we may need to idle up a little bit, but I don't think that we're adequately opening the throttles evenly. So, and I'm not trying to make this any longer of a video than it has to be because this is just a preliminary. But so far, I think we're pretty gutless. And I think there's a couple of reasons. When we started it up, initially, we had a little bit of coolant coming out of it. And we still are dripping some coolant. So I think we may have a blown head gasket. So that's, I think that might have been 6th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, there's 1st. So jetting, I'm not trying to say that that's wrong yet. We've adequately established the fact that the gearbox shifts. Our brakes work. Thank God the rear brake works. I'm being very cautious about it. In my observation, we might need some sort of a quick turn throttle tube, possibly. Not sure yet. Yeah, we are dripping some coolant. And I think that's one of the main things is we're not opening the carburetors evenly. So we're going to have to look in that and make a few adjustments. Part of me was somewhat hopeful that she would start up and rip and scare the shit out of me, but that's not the case. We're running 32 to 1 on this just to be safe. It died on me, and we're going to try to figure out why, and I'll jump back in here in a minute. We'll see. All right, we're back, and yeah, I think we're just getting a little loaded up, and I think we've got some sort of a head gasket issue because we're still leaking a little bit of coolant out. However, I'm going to go ahead and say this is somewhat of a positive experience here. We've messed with our jetting a little bit, and we've rebroken in this tire a little bit on the rear. We've got a little ways to go. Let me see if she'll start up for me again, and then we'll call it a success. Let's find a neutral again so we don't do anything naughty. Yeah, this is a really rigid gearbox to shift. So I think that we might have to do the Michael Sabo or the Banshee channel. Modification to the shift star. Yeah, neutral's a little hard to find. We'll just roll with that. I'll give her a little bit of gas. Not a very long. So that's a little bit crazy. We've got some work to do, friends. So, just to give you some gravity of the situation here, we're down in first now. There's not much margin between neutral and second gear, but just for comparison, that's a lot of throttle input, and there's kind of our hit, and it's not very impressive. So I think what we're doing is we need to sync these carbs. I might even take the heads off and take a look and see. I think we're getting some intrusion of exhaust gas, and that's probably affecting our power. I'm anticipating, good God, this thing's loud. I mean, right there in that mid-range, there's a little bit of a hit, and then it's just like that, it's gone. And so we got to play with it a little bit. You kind of see that? You see the power range is It's kind of like a low mid-range where the power's coming on, and it's just kind of a hint of it, and then just like that, it's gone. So we're going to do one more lap because I'm curious about this, but I think we definitely have to do some. I don't want to blame it all on the engine. I mean, right there. Oh! Yeah, right off the bottom, it starts to be impressive, so we need to look at a few things. This does have the linked together pre-carb air boots. It's supposed to neutralize or equalize pressure. That might need to go. There's power. And just as soon as it's in the power, it's gone. But you know, this is kind of a disorganized deal, but I wanted to upload it raw and let you know what I'm working with. Let's